I have started planting wheat today. I am no-tilling the wheat here into the soybean stubble, but this is what I am dealing with here. As you can see, I've only got a two-wheel drive tractor, but I should have a four-wheel drive tractor here. I almost got stuck up in that corner on my first pass. I just was not thinking. This is not from the rain that we had earlier this week. It was so dry the rain just soaked in. No, this is from the coastal flooding that we had a week ago. So this is Saturday. Last Saturday, we had all of that coastal flooding. The Potomac River is just beyond the trees here, about probably 300 feet or so. So that tide came up into this field and this far up into the field, and it is still wet. I was hoping I could get through to the end here somewhere, but as I'm walking across here, that is not the case. Wow, I did not realize when we had these coastal floods that the water came this far up in the field. So it looks like I've still got to stay back here a good ways. Yeah, I better turn around right where I am, or else I will be stuck, and I have no one around today to pull me out. Okay, let me get back on the tractor and cross my fingers and hope for the best. Not sure if I can give you some perspective on the tides and the flooding. So what we have today, this is a normal tide here. This is probably a low tide. High tide normally may get up to the base here where the sand ends and the dirt begins. But last Saturday, tides were coming over this this bank here and into the field. In this particular field, probably went out into the field, I don't know, 50 to 100 feet based on how wet, where it's wet and where it is not wet. So this bank is probably about 3 feet tall. So from the base where the sand ends to the top, 3 feet. So yeah, tides 3.5 feet above normal last week. Waterfront property, you gotta love it. Not. Another perspective of tides and flooding here. So a normal tide here, you can see. Maybe somewhat of a low tide. So where I was almost getting stuck earlier, you can see the bank of sand where the tide normally comes up. I was getting stuck just beyond this marsh. Right on the other side here, probably 100 feet. So the water came up here from the river and came all the way across here and into the field just beyond those trees there. That was a lot of water. I have seen it do that with hurricanes, but never just on coastal flooding where we had no hurricanes or storms. But I think, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of it had to do with the moon. We were coming up on a full moon last week. I had over 3.5 inches of rain at my house yesterday. Let's see how much they got down here. All right, 2 2/10 inches. So not the 3.5 I had at my house. So things are going to be a bit wet for a while. I think there's another chance of rain actually tomorrow, Tuesday, or maybe Wednesday. But hey, soybeans are out and in the bin. Corn is out and in the bin. I've got some wheat planted, but still have some time to plant the rest. So if we get a couple days of drying weather, I can finish planting that. Well, look at that. Gosh darn it. I hate it when that happens. I've got a bearing that has gone bad on the coulter cart there. And so what happens, a coulter stops turning and then it just drags up and piles up. So I got all the way to the end before I noticed it. It is this one right here. So let me get the tools out, take that off, and go get another bearing. I have one at the shop, so it won't take me that long to fix this and get it going again. Okay, looks like we're ready to go. I got it done. All right. I think my sprayer is foaming at the hose. Yep, that's what it's doing, foaming at the hose. I've got some wheat to spray this morning. It's wheat that I planted yesterday. I have got a little bit of green stuff coming up in the field, so I'm going to put a little bit of glyphosate on it, just so it doesn't continue growing in case we have a warm fall. So I've got the sprayer filled. I just overfilled it a little bit, so it's foaming up everywhere. All right, let me go get this wheat sprayed. See ya.